What's going on YouTube? It's Trev. Terra Classic Community. Let's go over some stuff. Let me see. How do I get there? I think I get there like this. All right. I had put out a few polls, right? And you guys really grabbed hold of the first one and voted like crazy on it. But I think after a while you got a little sick of the polls. Weren't voting quite as much. But then again, I got busy and wasn't really retweeting them as much either. So whatever. But anyway, either way, we got some really, really good feedback from these polls. So I thank you to everyone who took part in them, who voted, who retweeted, right? Basically, the L1 task force, specifically Lunk Burn Army, had asked the COC to kind of query the community and find out, kind of what things that they're actually looking for in Q2, what things they would like to see happen. A report back was, our homework, I guess. And so this is what I did. I did these polls, and I want to go through them a little bit and kind of go over what you guys are saying, okay? Because I just released the fourth and final poll, and we'll build up to that one. So anyway, this was the first one, and the first four options were repeg, 100% separation from TFL, an L2 task force, or a roadmap, a plan, right? And you can see that repeg swept all the other three together. I mean, it added up, didn't come to half of, I think, what repeg got, right? So yeah, about half. Anyway, we talked about this. We talked about this in the live stream that I did with Tobias and Lunk Burn Army. We talked about the likelihood of a repeg and the different things that would have to happen before we could even think about that. Now, this is absolutely something that the L1 task force has on their radar, but right now with legal things that are pending and where the SEC is going to go, and really the governments all over the world kind of cracking down on things, they felt like they needed to really get some legit legal advice as to what we can or can't do to protect the community and to protect themselves before we go ahead and think about something like that. So those things are in the works, and once they have a solid idea of legally whether they can or can't go that way, until then there's really not much to say about it. It's not going to happen until we find out whether it can happen or not. So we'll keep you posted on that. But just to scroll through what you guys said in the comments, because the comments were just as important as the voting, to be honest. And I'm going to read through most of this, right? This might be a good time to separate from TFL, but if I'm not mistaken, TR is already on it. No worries then, right? I guess Peter was being a bit of a smartass on that. Some of those things are related, are they not? You may need a L1 team to separate 100% from TFL, but that team and the L1 team need a roadmap. No, so Chris thinks that basically it would. If you have one, you kind of have to have them all, right? V-Man says repeg at incremental levels will incentivize the onboarding of most utility service product providers. Okay, so again with the repeg, there's going to be obviously a lot of comments in here about the repeg because it dominated so much in the poll, and I understand that that's what a lot of people want to see, because we're really coming to understand that the community, a large portion of the community, basically are looking for this thing to pump. They just, at this point, it's like, listen, I just want it to go up, and I just want to make I want to make some money on it. I want to take some money out, and that's all I really want, right? That's a much larger section of the community than the community that is just holding for the long term and using this as some sort of store of value kind of thing, right? That's just not where the community is right now, and I think that the L1 task force needs to be aware of that percentage, right? Okay. So anyway, separation is a roadmap all by itself because it is not just a technical deliverable. How are we addressing the SEC concerns about Luna, right? Yeah, well, that's what I just talked about. Okay, where's the fundamental plan? Ecosystem, usage case should be priority. So I actually like that some people went outside of the 4 options in the poll and said, those 4 things are fine, but this is what I think we need, because that's the engagement that we want. We want to know what everybody is thinking. And a lot of things that were brought up actually showed up in subsequent polls. And I can't really tell you whether I was going to do the poll that way or if I got the idea. I probably got the idea from some of the comments. So that worked out pretty cool. The 4 points are important. Repeg, but also roadmap so that investors know what is coming. Yeah, okay. Zarda mentioned, if I remember correct, something about to turn Terra Classic as a cloud service provider. He does have some things that have to do with that. The idea was interesting. Would like to see some deeper discussion about that. Thanks. Okay, so that's a great suggestion. I prefer to stop building, planning, and create strategy that enables us to win. Very little chance of success until that happens. Lunk is in a familiar, comfortable place of asking, what do you want us to do? Rather than asking, what outcome do you want? Doomed to fail. I understand that perspective, right? In other words, instead of the L1 task force saying to the community, okay, what do you want us to work on? This person is suggesting that they say to the community, what is your outcome? What do you want the outcome to be? But as I said, I think that we have a really good grasp on what the majority of the community wants the outcome to be. They want the outcome to be the price goes up and they make money, right? And they don't want that 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. They want that ASAP. I don't know that that's really going to happen, to be honest with you, okay? We don't know the future, but the way that things are going right now, even Zaradar said, maybe we could get to a penny in 3 to 5 years, maybe, right? If everything goes well. Some different things could happen to change all that around. We'll have to keep our eyes open. First priority is parity with Luna, so that we can get many D-apps to bring repeg by making L2 task force. Okay, so there's a little bit of everything here, right? Repeg will draw the SEC attention. Might rethink before they fine us and bankrupt us like library token. There's people putting in this weird anime stuff. Repeg and roadmap. Roadmap first, separation last. I am saying repeg development is good, but it also has to bring something volume so burns have an effect. I love whenever Zero comments on my posts because he's so quirky, right? Chartage be a must in these vast violent seas. Separation from TFL be not needed at present in me humble Lunkeneer opinion. Live Lunk and be prosperin' me Lunkeneers. Thanks for that. Parity, don't push anything else before parity. Parity with Luna. So, it's kind of all over the place, right? But if we went to the poll, we see that repeg was a big thing. Parity was not included in this. So we had a lot of people pushing for parity. Parity does come up in a subsequent poll. So the next poll, first one on the list, was V2 parity. So many people suggested it in that last one that I made sure to put it in this one. So it's parity, a swap mechanism. We know that the swap on station isn't working yet, right? And Jared told us about that in that live stream that we did. It was like a 2.5 hour live stream, and Jared was there for a good portion of it, and he talked a little bit about the difficulties of getting this swap thing going. Lower the supply, and some sort of leadership structure, right? Those were the 4 here. Parity and lower the supply were pretty close to each other, but parity absolutely edged it out. And if we read through some of the comments, very similar to the first one, okay? Now, this one only had, the previous one had 1,600 some odd votes. This one had a quarter of that, right? I made the mistake of only putting this up for like a day. So if I had actually put it up for 3 or 4 days like the previous one, I think we would have gotten a lot more votes. But that was my fault. Now we went to the third poll, and by now, and this one was up for 3 or 4 days, but by now I think people just, like I said, either got sick of these polls, or they weren't really interested in these subjects, or like I said, I've been busy. I didn't have time to like retweet this and kept pushing it, right? So the 4 options here were increase the funds in the pools, higher legal rep, raise the tax from 0.2, and I put that in because it was something that has been rumored was going to be coming up, maybe from Vegas, maybe somebody around there might be coming for a proposal for raising the tax again, right? And shorten the undelegate period. And I threw that one in because I was actually hearing that one quite a bit, right? It didn't do so well in this poll, at least not compared to the other things. And the way I listed them, I kind of nailed it the way it was going to go. Increase the funds in the pool, number 1. That's most important to people. We need that to fund the L1 development team, to fund, DApps that might want to come in. Anything that we want to do, we need to make sure that those pools are up and running, okay? So what I did for the last poll is I took the winner of those 3 polls, and then I took something that I hear personally more often lately than anything else. I hear it in some of my Twitter feed, but I also hear it very often in the comment section of my videos. I hear it in DMs from you guys, and that is about the buy button. Matthew Perry's proposal to add a buy button to Station, an onboarding mechanism, as they call it, to be able to just buy Lunk, or sell Lunk, I guess, or whatever, right from Station, and so, as opposed to buying it on one of the exchanges and then moving it over. So that's what I did in this one. I just put this up, maybe not, I don't even know if it's been an hour, okay? I put it up for 3 days. It's got 36 votes right now, and right now, repeg is taking the lead again. I just don't think a lot of people are paying attention to the fact that we might not be able to do that for a while. Maybe we can, but we might not be able to until we find out absolutely and for sure legally whether that's something that can happen. It's not going to happen. The L1 team isn't going to put themselves in a position where they're working on something that is going to get caught up in some sort of legal battle or whatever, right? So we need to figure that out first. And we have, what do we have? One, all right, so there's one comment, and it says, all important, would love to see the buy button on Station. Parity number 1, though. Not financial advice. So Parity is, coming in. It's a pretty close second. We'll see. This has got 3 days to go. We'll see exactly what happens here. Buy button, not doing so well. But like I said, this has been up for like an hour. So if you could, go to this tweet, vote for me. Not only vote, but retweet it. Retweet it as often as you want to retweet it. Comment, retweet it. Do whatever the heck you want to do. But let's get it out, and let's try to get the votes over 1,000 on this one. This is going to be the last poll. These polls tell us more than just maybe what you want to see worked on. There's a bunch of other information that kind of is derived from these polls as well, as far as community, how much the community is paying attention, community sentiment, a lot of different things, okay? They're very important. So it takes 2 seconds to just find it, click on your favorite, and, hit retweet, call it a day. You're done, right? You've done your part to have a say, All right, if you could do that for me, I would really appreciate it. And I'm going to talk to y'all a little later. Okay, ciao.